So, without further ado, I've got a top 5 accessories list for your digital SLR. This list was submitted by Calvin Chu. Calvin, appreciate the top 5 list. Here we go. Just watched your video about your new Rebel XTI. Congrats. I remember when I made the jump and it was great. An enthusiast in photography. He says he's no pro, probably like me, a prosumer. I shot with a point-and-shoot camera for a while, and then when a friend suggested I take the plunge, step further and invest in a DSLR. I thought I'd suggest 5 things that I found helpful as a DSLR owner. That's a digital single-lens reflex. An SLR would be a single-lens reflex camera, just without the digital part. Number 1, additional lenses. I'm not being specific here because every eye is different. I like landscape shots, so my wide-angle lens hogs my Canon body a lot. It always helps to carry more than one lens at a time. You never know when you need that telephoto moment or that wide angle when you just can't step back any further. Assuming you're going to stick with Canon lenses, be mindful of the difference between EF lenses on an EFS body. But you can't fit EFS lenses on a full frame body. So if further down the line you trade that Rebel XTI in for a full frame model, those EFS lenses won't work. I didn't even know that. This is an amazing tip, and I got it for free. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you so much. Also, Canon doesn't ship lens hoods with their lenses that aren't part of the L range. So you're going to have to buy a separate lens hood for that lens if it's not an L, which stands for luxury, model. IS, image stabilization, is another feature to look out for on lenses if you find out you have more shaky hands than you realized. Since the body, that's the part of the camera that isn't the lens, obviously, doesn't have this, the technology in any IS you get will be from the lenses. The benefit of this is that you can see the IS effects through the viewfinder. That's also good to know. Number 2, battery grip. Picture the scene. Your baby is in Ponzi's arms and about to yawn for the first time. You reach out for your camera and attempt to snap this amazing moment only to find that the battery is dead. Not that this happened to me, but you can imagine you'd be pretty livid if this were to happen, regardless of how organized you are with batteries, which is why I recommend a battery grip for your Rebel XTI. Well, of course, a battery grip for any camera. Not only can you store 2 batteries worth of power within the grip, but it also allows you to hold your camera vertically much easier and has additional controls when holding it in that position. The official Canon model is the BG-E3, but if you find that too pricey, there are some other ones out there which are basically the same, but don't sport the Canon name, unbranded if you will. Number 3, flash gun and diffuser. While the flash is acceptable on the camera itself, it can never fully compare to a proper flash gun. With one, you can adjust the angle so you can bounce the flash off of walls or a ceiling for a less direct flash. This is a great tip for any photographer. Or, even better, use an off-shoe camera cord and manually control the direction of the flash with your hand off camera. Take a look at the offerings of Canon's Speedlight range. They're sure to get you going a bit. I also recommend getting a flash diffuser. Basically, that's a small device which softens the flash from the flash gun, which is especially useful if you need that direct flash but don't want the harsh shadows that go with using a flash. Getting a separate flash to bounce off the walls is an amazing tip. I've used it before. I've used wax paper over my real flash to kind of keep it from being as he notes, as heavy on the shadows, which happens when you use the flash on camera. Number 4, tripods or monopods. Tripods are fantastic if you want to take shots which just aren't possible to do just by holding onto the camera, even with IS, image stabilization. I have a bit of a soft spot for long exposure shots, but that's just me. Well, and I'm the same way. That was Calvin who was noting that. I recommend something from the Giotto's and Velbon range. Again, I won't name specifics because everyone has their own taste, so I suggest you get down to the store, have a feel, check out its joints, and play around with it. A monopod isn't a must, but if you feel the need to reduce the camera shake in those moments but don't have the time to set up the full tripod, it may come in handy. Fair enough. In fact, my tripod doubles as a monopod. The middle part hangs in the middle of the tripod, but then it pops out to be a monopod. Mono, 1, tri, 3. Monopods are great because they're lightweight, and you just screw the camera in, and it's not going to be completely stable, but it is going to reduce a lot of that camera shake that might happen by holding on to something, without some kind of triangulation in terms of stability. I think that made sense. I know it's late right now. Number 5, camera bag. And this is actually a really good tip, and I didn't realize how good it was until I read it. You've got the equipment, now you need a container. I have several camera bags, namely a backpack if I want to carry a tripod, laptop, and a few lenses along for a trip, or a small messenger bag for just the camera and another lens. Unfortunately, I find most camera bags look too much like camera bags and are begging to be swiped. I recommend Crumpler. This is what he notes. It's not cheap, but they do make attractive bags. And while now thieves have caught on that Crumpler bags are what more and more photographers are using, for the most part they disguise themselves pretty well and are being passed off as just a bag. They make a large range of backpacks and messenger bags for photographers, so do check them out. If you don't mind the obvious camera bag look, check out bags made by Lowepro, Lowepro. Their sling bags are a favorite for photographers, and their range is very respectable.